Well, let's try something different today. I'm going to be doing the podcast, and I'm going to be talking about the 10 things I wish I knew about ghostwriting before I became a ghostwriter, a book coach, and developmental editor. And I think that these are tips that will help everyone, regardless of where they are in their career. And I'd like to start with a story that happened more than 20 years ago. I attended the American Bar Association conference, and a gentleman named Alan Phonebush told a story. And the story has to be really, really good if you remember it 20 years later. And the point of the story was that the value of a service devalues the minute after the service is delivered. And customers don't appreciate what you do. And here's the story. He's a lawyer, and someone comes in, a client comes in to see him and says, you got to get me off. I got this drunk driving thing, and it's just really horrible. It's going to cost me my job. It'll cost me my family. It'll cost thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. You really have to help me. This is like the worst thing in the world. This could be like horrible, horrible, horrible. I'll do anything. I'll pay you anything. Get me off. And so Alan goes in and does his thing to the judge and whatever, and gets the guy off. And he wants to get paid. And the client says, well, you really didn't work that hard. It really didn't take that long. The judge liked me. He smiled at me, so I don't think and there's your point. And I think that some of our clients don't realize what we do or how hard we work or what we do and appreciate it. So I think, therefore, it's really important to get paid as you go. I know some people that I work with as ghostwriters, or some people I collaborate with ghostwriters and we chat, whatever, they have payment plans tied to goals that the client is responsible for, their deliverables. We will pay you, I will pay you on a certain date after I approve the first third or the first chapter or the first percentage of the work. Well, that puts the burden on them, not on you. And you still have to get paid. So what I have done is I charge people on day one and every 30 days thereafter. And that way I get paid, and I am not a collection agency, and I don't have to keep on bugging the client for money, which always affects the personal relationship. We take the money out of it. We just charge their credit card every 30 days. One client, in fact, my latest client said, how about if I pay you upfront in advance and take 10% off? I said, okay, but if you do that, you don't have the right of canceling. So I have a cancellation clause in my contract that says either side can cancel without for any purpose, but any fee paid up to that point is considered earned and will not be refunded. And he readily agreed to that. So I got my fee minus 10% up front, which is good for me. He got a 10% discount, which was good for him. And we didn't have to worry about money. So I think it's really important to get the money thing straight up front so it does not become an issue. And I know some ghostwriters and book coaches have gotten burned because clients disappeared and they did the work after you've done the work. They disappeared. So really not cool. So get clear. Second area of getting clear is clear communication. After the first meeting, I always say, did this go as planned? Is this everything you expected? Or anything else that fits into your vocabulary? Because I want to make sure that we're off to a good start. And 99 out of 100 clients have said, yeah, this is great. This is more than I expected. This is really fun. I'm looking forward to working with you. This is fantastic. One client said, we'll see. And he was the worst client ever. And I didn't see the red flag, but I should have. And I'm glad I asked that question, but I wasn't perceptive enough to realize like uh-oh, this guy has something going on that I need to be aware of, and we better figure this out fast. And it turned out to be a really, really bad situation. As it turned out, we had 6 or 7 more meetings where I kept on asking, how did this go? Is everything okay? And he said, yeah, it's great, it's great, it's great. And I kept on interviewing him It's a ghostwriting assignment. And I kept on writing chapters and I kept on sending him the chapters and he never gave me feedback. He just said, yeah, this is great. This is fine. This is wonderful. After about the ninth or 10th meeting, he said, I finally read your work and it was a, it was just horrible. He didn't like anything, didn't like this word, didn't like that word, picking on everything. It was just the red flags were there. I didn't see it. So be very careful about communications because it can really affect you in many, many ways. It was more than just professional. It was like it got to my core. It really hurt because, you know, if it didn't work out, I would have gladly given him his money back after the second or third time. It was just like, hey, this isn't working out, no problem. But after 10 meetings, after doing 10 chapters, you're really invested at that point. And there's no turning back because it's just too much money and too much time. And it's his problem. So it was a blank show. It was really just bad. Unfortunately, I've only had one of those situations. Hopefully you will never have any of those situations. Um, Underpricing your services, number three. I think we all have that problem. And I'm reminded of what one of our guests said on a previous episode where he said you should double your price and then charge 20% more. That might be a little bit unrealistic, but there's something to be said for that. And I think it's also important that I made a mistake recently. I got a referral, and my referral partner said, "How much do you charge?" And I said, "Generally, I charge X." And he told this person that I charged X. Well, I met a person in a mastermind group, which ironically was the same mastermind group that this referral partner was in. And we had this conversation, and we got to the dollar point, and I said it was X plus $10,000 because I knew she'd be difficult to work with. And every client, you start with the base fee and you say, well, we need to add this, we need to add that, we need to add this is going to take more time, whatever. So it's a starting point. Little did I realize that she was the referral that this other person was referring to me. And that's when I was like, oh my God, this is where it happened. So when you share your pricing with your referral partners, let them know that it's elastic, that it's a starting point, that it can change based on numerous factors that are involved in the project because every project is different. Next step, contracts and agreements. Put everything you do, and more importantly, everything you don't do in writing in the contract. Anything not in the contract can lead to disputes. For example, my contract points out the scope of the work, the payment terms, and any other relevant details. It also includes things that I don't do. I don't do the proofreading, the copy editing, the layout, the book design, the book production, marketing, publicity, advertising. So it's really, really clear up front what I'm doing and what I'm not doing, so there's no problem. Clearly define the market. As you grow in your business, you're going to find that you're going to go from we serve everyone because we like serving everyone and we have so many skills and we are so diverse and we like doing everything. And then you're going to realize that the 80-20 rule applies, that you like working with certain people or certain projects or certain topics more than others. For me, I love writing business fables. I can create an entirely new world. I can create adventures. I can create plots. I can create characters. That's so much more inspiring for me than writing the traditional big business card book or the traditional nonfiction book. Love coaching people through those projects. I really don't want to write them. And that's good. So it's good to know what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And I think that helps define you in the marketplace so that you become more referable. So I become the guy to say, oh, you need a business fable? Go to Dan. Oh, you need something more structured and formulaic, let's go to someone who can write an operations manual for you and do it perfectly. So, people have their skills, and that's where we should go get the skills. Next, getting commitments during the call, both during prospects calls and during your actual coaching calls. So on a prospect call, when is the next time we should speak? I'm sending you the contract, I'm sending you the paperwork. When should we speak again? Get it on paper, get it on your calendar. They can always cancel, that's fine. But if you don't get it on there, you may never get them back in person. During a coaching call, I always ask, so what are you going to write about next week? And then we talk about that chapter, and we commit to that. So we know exactly what's going on. When are you going to deliver it? For me, I have my clients send me everything by a Monday. That way they have the weekend to work on it. And on Wednesday, I schedule my client calls. Now, that's just me. You can have your own schedule. But the important thing is that you have a schedule, that they give you the work in plenty of time, that you can review it, go over it, maybe sleep on it, look at it again the next day, and send it back to them so they have time to review it as well. So I think if we all have those kinds of commitments, then people know exactly what to expect. And a lot of people like that. They want the discipline. In fact, a lot of people are hiring us because they don't have the discipline, and they're looking to us to keep them on track. So always get that commitment. Marketing. My website is okay. Um, I have testimonials. I have what I do. I've seen other people's websites, other ghostwriters, and we're all a little bit different and all have our personalities show through. And I think that's really important. The one mistake I made was not using Zoom properly to get video testimonials. This probably won't happen to you, but it happened to me, so I'll share this. I was sharing a screen with a client, so we could see their work, like a Word document on the screen. And they would say something like, or I would say, hey, that's great. Can you give me a testimonial? Or they would say something wonderful about how I helped them. And I say, great, can I use that as a testimonial? And they'd say, sure, happy to do it. Great to work with, and everything's wonderful. Well, when I got the Zoom recording, what did I see on the screen? Not their pretty face, but the Word document. And there's no way a Word document looks like a video testimonial. So I got the audio and put their picture over the audio on a video screen, and it was okay, but I learned my lesson. So make sure that you have their face on the screen when they're doing the recording. Also, get the testimonial while they're still a client. If they say, we'll send you a testimonial later, or I'll get around to it, they'll never get around to it. So when you're having your last meeting, make sure you ask for a testimonial. And you don't say testimonial because that'll freak them out. Just say, so how would you describe our working relationship? Or was this everything you thought of? Or some other leading question that is going to take them into a positive frame, and then capture that information. So that's key there. Referrals. Referrals are the key. I can't say that I'm a brilliant marketer in terms of LinkedIn or social media. I'm sort of behind the eight ball on that. I've done lots of things. I've done lots of email marketing. Nothing really seems to work for me. Other people are different. They may be better at it than I am. Good for them. They're more outgoing. I'm an introvert. That hurts. Does not serve me well. So I have found that for me, referrals are the key. My best clients have come from referrals, and my clients refer as well. And that's where I am really crushing it. So you do good work, your clients tell their friends tell their friends, and then you get more business. I worked with one woman who liked my work. She told her financial advisor about me because he wanted to write a book. He became a client. So you never know how these things happen, but there are things you can do to make things go along the road. And one thing I found is relationships with other vendors in the supply chain. And this is an interesting phenomenon because we deal with clients at a certain level, and then we send them off to someone else. For example, I work with the clients on a manuscript, and then they need to turn that manuscript into a book. So I refer them off to a publishing partner who does all the proofreading, copying, layout, design, book covers, and all those other wonderful things that I don't want to do. And then he might refer them off to marketing services for an Amazon campaign or whatever. So there are chains, people move up the chain. Well, think about this for ghostwriting, book coaching, developmental editing. Where are people before they come to us? They're probably with business coaches. And the business coaches say, hey, you have all the pieces in place here, but you need a book. Or the client may say, I need a book. Do you know anyone who can write a book for me or help me write my book? And then those coaches refer their clients to you. So it's important to figure out who is in your chain of client relationships, who's coming up the ladder that would need your kinds of services. And it's also important financially to figure out who you can pass those people along to so you can make some extra affiliate or JV income as well. So there's no shame in taking commissions for giving work to other people. There's no shame in paying commissions to people who refer work to you. So that's been a nice little bonus for me. Failure to establish boundaries. Yeah, clear boundaries are important. If you want to work on the weekend and edit someone's work on the weekend, that's fine. But if they come to expect it, that may not be fine. They may come to expect that you're going to work on the weekend for them, and that just may not be cool. So think clearly about how you want to establish those kinds of boundaries. Also, sometimes clients become friends. They really do, because you're living with each other for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and you become friends, which is really, really great. And then you start wondering, am I giving away too much? Is this consulting? So you really have to be clear about that. And I can't give any guidelines there because everyone is different. So, but just realize that it is there. Okay. And then flexibility. That's my last point. You really need to be flexible to your clients' needs. And there are a couple of areas here. One is their schedules, their family issues, health issues, vacations, Christmas, whatever. So a 16-week project, which is the way I usually work, could turn into 20 calendar weeks or 24 calendar weeks based on people's lives. And that's okay, as long as they're not using it as an excuse to get out of writing the book. I've had some issues where people really didn't want to write their book, and it was like, oh, my son is visiting this weekend. Oh, we're going off to Spain for a couple of weeks. Oh, you never hear from them again. Okay, they're gone. Other people have legitimate things. People do visit, and life does get complicated, and they do want to write their books. So it's important to figure out where they are and coach them appropriately so they do get their books done. The second area of flexibility is how many times we read the chapter. I'm having an issue now where a client is writing and rewriting his chapters. They're getting progressively better, but I'm thinking to myself, my normal client, 1 pass, 2 passes, we're done. We locked in that chapter. We're moving on. And this guy is like 2, 3, 4, 5 revisions, and I'm not really happy about it, but it's my bad because I didn't say anything up front, and I have to deal with that myself and figure out how to figure that out. But again, I want to over deliver, and I'm not having an issue with that, but I could see where this could be a problem. So those are some things that I have found that would have helped me launch and build and promote and grow my ghostwriting business and developmental editing business a bit better, a bit faster, with a bit less hassles. And I hope that you can use some of these tips and make them your own and grow your business as well. So that's it for this episode. You can see more than 200 other episodes of Write Your Book in a Flash with Dan Janal on this YouTube channel. Check them out.